This is the story of life. It's a story of evolution, of breeding, of survival. It's a story of hunting and being hunted. But it's also a story of us, how we came to be, and what we're going to be. I'm Norman Chan, and I attend Connor Middle School. This is the evolution of us. Earth is the planet that we call home. It supports all our needs and the needs of many other organisms. However, if you go back a few billion years, you won't find the same planet. These bizarre-looking structures are called stromatolites, giant colonies of bacteria. Starting out as individual cells, soon multiple bacteria began growing in the same spot, thus creating this formation. But to understand how simple prokaryotes developed into us, complex humans, we need to look at the theory of evolution. Alright, in 1665, Robert Hooke, a well-respected scientist of England's Royal Society, revolutionized the scientific world with the discovery of cells, the smallest possible unit of life known to man. This breakthrough began the fields of cytology, microbiology, epidemiology, and finally, evolution. By 1831, Charles Darwin journeyed across the globe observing the adaptations of the organisms that called those environments home. Although he witnessed many plants and animals during his 5-year trek, Darwin took a particular interest in the biota of the Galapagos Islands off the western coast of South America. Once there, the biologists noticed distinct differences between the bird species, specifically the finches. Each bird had a unique beak structure that was used to gather food. However, as Darwin observed, each finch fed on a different type of food, whether it be seeds, roots, or insects. The beaks of the varieties of finches were perfectly suited for the birds' individual diets. Because of this, Darwin speculated that a natural force called competition had selected those who were best adapted to their environment to survive. He called this phenomenon natural selection. In 1859, Darwin published his ideas in his book, The Origin of Species. In it, he described how animals could change depending on their environmental factors. Let's go back to that DNA model that took up half the intro. So DNA, which is short for deoxyribonucleic acid, referring to the dual helix of ribonucleic acids, is the code that cells follow to undergo mitosis and protein synthesis. It's made up of 4 letters, A, C, G, and T, which stand for adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine, which I'm probably pronouncing really badly. When an organism reproduces, the DNA is copied, but the duplication is not perfect. Tiny mutations in the code can be made, and these lead to changes in the animal. Multiple changes over multiple generations will make the animals different. The changes that are beneficial for the animal will help it survive and thus reproduce more, and those that are detrimental will make it kind of die more. These are the fundamentals of evolution. Through this process, life exploded into bizarre and beautiful creatures, branching off into fish and amphibians during the Devonian, reptiles during the Carboniferous, synapses during the Permian, and dinosaurs in the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods. But our story starts after the dinosaurs went extinct during the Tertiary period. Mammals, up until this point, had been dominated by giant reptiles such as the dinosaurs. But with those animals gone, we had the ability to evolve to our own extent. Welcome to the Pliocene, the time when life evolved into something that the world had never seen before. Mammals had developed into primates. This is a pivotal period in biology. This is where we started to evolve. Our arms, legs, head, and even our brains resemble those hairy ancestors. Over the next 2 million years, those primates split into apes and hominids, including us. Compare this to the strange stromatolites, and it's enticing to speculate what kind of creature we would look like in the future, given that we don't kill ourselves first, because that's a very real possibility. Well, let's look at how life evolved in the first place. First, competition between animals of the same species forces some to be favored over the other due to genetic variances. Through natural selection, the ones with better adaptations will eventually outcompete their more primitive relatives. Since the most successful animals are the most likely to reproduce, the entire species will soon be overtaken by that gene. So let's see how humans compare to this structure. Right away, there's a problem. With our own physical attributes, we don't compete for resources. We use machines to do that for us. In addition, it's not a bad thing, but hospitals exist. By definition, natural selection necessitates the inevitable death of a group of outcompeting animals. Luckily, modern medical care can halt the death of our sick and weak, but at the expense of human evolution. The likelihood is that humans will look almost the same, if not identical to us, in the future. We have eliminated the force of biological competition and natural selection in our life. We are at the absolute peak of human evolution.